Hello, everybody. Welcome back to our podcast. This is Gustavo, and I have George here with me.
Hey.
Wanted to switch it up a little bit, throw people off, the fact that it's not used with your voice like this. Like, hello, welcome back, everyone. So
yeah, you complain a lot about it, but you never want to take the lead.
I don't like to. Anyway, so what are we talking about today?
Anything.
Awesome.
I don't have anything planned. In terms of like topics or market updates like we've done in the past. So we could talk about anything. You mentioned a story that is kind of funny that we could start with.
The one with no keys?
The one with what?
That where I was doing a show and there was no keys? Is that the one you're referring to?
No, that's not what we were talking about earlier. The one with the
I have a
Spanish.
lot of them. Oh, yes. Can we talk about that?
Yeah.
So, like, give us the setup for it first. Like, what year was it?
Picture it. New Haven.
Black and white.
Yeah, black and white. 2016. How do you want me to preface it?
Well,
because
the first thing I need people to know is that you're awkward.
Oh, yes.
You are such an awkward. You've gotten better. I'll give you that. But you used to be so freaking awkward, dude. Like bad. Like
actually, that just made me think of something else.
Yeah, I'm sure you have a ton of these. Like very awkward to the point that just social things that you would do that are very silly and very easy to avoid.
No, you're right.
That it would just blow my mind that you wouldn't think of what to do.
You're right.
So tell us the story about that client that you had that that spoke Spanish, right?
Yeah. So kind of talking about the fact that I'm awkward. I always had this very difficult thing about
being
not
human?
knowing when not how to be appropriately social. Yes. Not knowing when it was appropriate for me to let people know that I spoke Spanish.
Right.
Because I don't know if it's just me overthinking our culture or just thinking about human behavior and being polite. If somebody speaks some English, I generally go with that. They're making they're making the attempt to speak English, and I automatically don't like to do. Oh, speak Spanish to me. It's okay. Let me save you from your struggle.
No, I get it.
So I usually try to go with the English.
And I'm on board with that. That makes a lot of sense. You don't assume that someone wants you to speak Spanish to them just because they speak maybe slightly broken English or something. It's fine.
Right. And here's the other thing. A lot of people when they meet me, and this particular person I know for a fact knew who I was. She's never met me, but she knew my name.
Okay.
And that's one of the things that I go off of. They see how my name is spelled. So at the least, if they prefer Spanish, I would think that they would go, do you speak Spanish?
Sure.
And that's my cue for me to say.
Maybe they don't know how to say that in English. Have you ever considered that?
So anyway, kind of to the point of the story, I met this person. She introduced herself actually in very good English at first. So I led with English and I said, tell me a little bit about what you're looking for. This is what we do, et cetera, et cetera. About 3 minutes into the conversation, I realized, okay, her English is not as great as I thought it was. But I was not getting the cues or the prompts. And this is where my awkwardness comes in. Instead of me nipping this in the bud sooner than later, I let her speak for like 5 or 10 minutes in her broken
English. She
was
struggling?
And by struggling, I mean, it wasn't her language of choice.
No,
if
okay,
she had to
didn't
choose,
feel comfortable. She wasn't comfortable.
And for whatever reason, I just kept answering her in English and answering her in English. And long story short, it got to the point where she was convinced that I did not speak Spanish because she would speak Spanish in front of me to like either on the phone or other people. And never anything offensive.
And then she would translate the whole conversation to you, just so you know, I wasn't speaking about you.
It was never anything offensive. But it was things that I knew could be valuable if she was giving people feedback about the house that she saw or whatnot, and some of her concerns. And I would say, so what did you think? Even knowing that I interpreted everything.
See, that is just dumb.
But at this point, look here, realistically, at this point, I'm not just 10 minutes into the conversation. Now we're days into our relationship. How do I say?
You're talking about days later.
Yeah, like now that we're past the initial consultation.
Oh, I see.
We're looking at houses and she's talking on the phone. How am I just out of nowhere going to be like in Spanish?
By the way, I speak Spanish.
Hey, I speak Spanish. So she's going to be like, who the hell are you? What? It would have gotten to the point where she's like, she's insulted by it now. She's like, how could you let me go for this amount? We worked together for 3 months. 3 months, and it was never revealed that I spoke Spanish because how could I? I was I dug myself into too deep of a hole and I could not get out of it. And that's a really good example of me being very awkward for no reason whatsoever. That could have been easily avoided.
So just so you know, like I'm gonna have little lessons for you of how to be a human being. And next time that happens to you, a good way to get around it is be like, so where are you from? And they'll tell you, I'm from blah blah. And you can be like, no way, I'm from blah blah. And then they'll know that you speak Spanish based on the country.
I wouldn't put it past me that I actually asked that question and didn't even say anything.
Oh, that's cool. I was born in Melbourne. It's like, but that will be a good way because then they'll most likely respond, oh, you speak Spanish.
Yeah.
And then it's up to you if you want to lie or not, I don't know. But yeah, that is weird, man. Like, and it's the equivalent of like having a friend or like a friend of a friend who you hang out with a few times and then you don't remember his name, but it's too late to ask.
Yeah.
And you just hope that someone's going to say it at some point.
Speaking of remembering names, that just triggered something else. And you could tell a story that you have after this, but this one is actually funny.
I was going to lie.
So this actually is pre-real estate. This was when I was landscaping. And my friend Brent will appreciate this one because this involves him.
Shout out, Brent.
Shut up, Brent.
Shout out.
Shout out to Brent. Shout out to Brent. So we were partners in the landscaping business, and every now and then he and I would work separately. And we had a lot of customers that we never met. We would talk with them over the phone or through email, and we would go out to work at their houses while they were at work, and we just never met them in person.
You were landscaping with email?
Huh?
You were a landscaping company with email?
Yeah,
nice.
yeah. We were pioneers, actually.
Wow,
yeah.
Good for you guys.
we led that wave.
Good for you guys.
So one time I was out at a customer's property cutting the grass, and I'm not exactly sure why this person got so upset, but let's say it was because I was working somewhere where I wasn't supposed to be working.
Maybe you were emailing.
Maybe like it was near a garden area or something, let's say. And evidently she had emailed us. Probably Brent picked up the message, or maybe I missed it or not stay away from that area. And so she happened to be home, and she came out of the house, and she was like, this is me just working at the property. Never having met this woman. She comes out furious, absolutely furious. She's like, no, stop. And I'm like, oh my God, like, what did I do wrong? I killed something. And she's like, I specifically told George not to cut in this area. He should know. He should have told you not to cut in this area. And she went on for like 2 or 3 minutes. And she was like, I'm so sorry. It's just that this area is very special to me. I planted this. And I'm just making this stuff up because I'm not sure if that's exactly what the issue was.
Probably where the dog was buried.
But she was just like, oh, listen, I'm so sorry. It's just that I'm dealing with a lot at work. And I didn't mean to go off on you like that. But anyway, what's your name?
Oh, Lord Jesus.
I was like, what am I supposed to say? I'm not going to be like, it's George. I was like, I'm Brent, by the way. I told her my name was Brent. And so she was like, hi, Brent. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. George must have not told you. Yeah, sorry about that. George must have not told you. But yeah, stay away from this area, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I get back to the shop at the end of the day, and I'm like, Brent, such and such property, this just went down. Whenever you are at that property,
you're George.
You can be George, you can be someone you want, but you are not Brent because I'm Brent whenever we go to that property.
But did you know that she never met him?
No, I don't know, actually. Good question. I must have not known.
Bold.
I must have not known because I wouldn't have said that. But it's almost understandable for me to not say. I could not say I was George. But why did I choose Brent? Why did I just make up a random name? I could have been an employee, but I chose Brent. And so
because you still wanted to be the owner. You're so shallow, man. You couldn't be an employee. Huh? You were you were so mad that you were out there actually working that you just couldn't do it.
Yeah, no, that's funny. That's funny, but yeah, that's and actually now that I think about like landscaping stories, we have a few. So maybe on other episodes we can bring back some landscaping stories, and maybe you can bring back some stories about your pre-real estate days. You must have some good ones.
No, I was actually really good at every other job I had. So yeah,
you're still learning the ropes on this one. I can't remember.
Actually, so I do have a funny one actually from when I used to serve at Olive Garden. It's not really funny. It's actually a little sad, but it's really not even that interesting. So I'm gonna make it really, really short. So I was doing a double, and at some point they let you eat. Good for them. And so I went to order food. I had my last table, which was just one lady sitting there by herself. And at some point, I went, got my food, just sat down and started eating. And I took my 45-minute break, or it was like an hour or something like that. and I forgot that I had a table. This lady sat there for an hour and did not ask for the manager. She was just sitting there. And
she's my spirit lady. That would be me.
Yeah, she was so awkward, right? And at some point, as soon as it hit me, though, my face got so red while I was sitting there because I was like, "There's no way she's still there. Please don't let her be there. Please don't let her be there." And I go around the the little like the entrance or something where she was sitting, and she was right there. Just like credit card on the table, no check or anything. Credit card on the table and an empty plate. So I go, I am so sorry.
It's breadsticks, right?
Oh, obviously, no. She has so many breadsticks.
So she was occupied.
And I just go, I am so sorry. I forgot about you. See, I'm not like you. I couldn't lie.
I would have quit. I would have walked out.
But what is she gonna say to that? If you're honest, you tell her, I forgot about you. The sad thing is that I probably wasn't the first one. She was sitting there by herself, so somebody else forgot about her too, I think. But she was so nice, and she was like, "Oh no, it's okay. Here's my card."
Oh.
Yeah, so it wasn't really a great story.
And she was an old lady by herself?
I don't know. I can't remember if she was old or not, but she was by herself.
Oh, but see that's you're either super 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 nice and super patient, or just too awkward to say anything. And I mean, with me, it's the second.
Oh, maybe she was still eating. Maybe she was
that's
a very
what I mean.
slow eater.
Endless breadsticks.
Yeah. So that's one, and the other one that I can think of is this happened recently. Actually, well, it happened this year, a couple months ago, and I think I put it on my Instagram, so a few people will probably remember. I was meeting one of the current clients right now that actually we closed already, but I was meeting them for the first time at one of the houses in Meriden. And he was coming from New Haven. I was coming from East Haven. I get to the house. I like to get to the houses if I can, like 5 minutes earlier, especially if I'm meeting someone for the first time. Because for some reason, the walk from the car to the door is a little bit awkward when you're just meeting someone. And I feel like they always expect like the realtor to like, they're pulling in, the realtor to just open the door and be like, "Welcome." Welcome. So I like to do that. I get to the house.
You like to do that? Welcome.
Well, I don't do the whole thing, the whole hand gesture, but yeah, I do say welcome actually. I actually never realized that was so stupid. I get to the house, I open up the lockbox, there was no key. So I call the realtor. Actually, no, I did have a key, but it wasn't opening the door. So I call the guy, the listing agent, and I tell him, "Hey, I can't. The key's not working." And he just tells me, "Well, there was someone there about an hour ago, and they were able to get in. Try a different door," he says. There was no other door. There was no other door that led me inside the house. And he was like, "No, there should be," because it was a 2-family house. So I guess he assumed that there should be a back door or something, but there wasn't. There was no other door whatsoever. And I just get mad because he didn't know what the hell he was talking about. I walked the whole house like 3 times thinking that I was missing a door. And so I go, okay, whatever. I'm just going to keep trying the front door. And I keep trying. It's just not working. And at one point I'm just like, there's no way I can meet this guy for the first time, like 25 minutes away from home. And that was the only house we were seeing, by the way. And tell him that I can't get in. Because it goes back to what we said, in previous podcasts, that people don't understand how this works. So it's very easy for it to just reflect on me. You and I understand that that key just didn't work. It was left by somebody else, but a lot of people don't understand that process.
Yeah.
So there's no way that can happen. So what do? I start checking windows. I start trying to open windows, and no joke, like the very first one just opened. So I go, okay, I think I can do this. And the window's probably like it's like up to like my shoulder, and I open up the window. I get on my stomach on the window, and as I'm like halfway in, halfway out, I realize that the ground is pretty far down. Like I can't go head first, and it was a very narrow window, so I couldn't really go like sideways or anything like that. And I'm always fearful to go feet first because I always feel like I'm gonna hit my face on the window going down. Maybe I'm overthinking it.
Yeah, it sounds like you're overthinking that a lot.
Yeah, it's a phobia. It's a phobia. Hitting my face on the window. It's a thing. So I just kind of like climbed down on my stomach. Now I'm all dirty because this is a vacant house.
So you were originally concerned about not being able to get him into the house because it was your first impression.
Yes.
You only have one. Well, and this is your first impression you went with.
I also didn't want to have to come back. I'm not going to lie. I was right there. I was eager to, I wanted to make it happen. Finally get inside the house. I fall in. I'm bleeding everywhere. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, and then I start walking to the front door. and on the ground in the hallway, right by the front door, there's a key on the floor.
I remember the story now. It took me until then to remember the story.
And I was so upset about that, man.
I
so upset about that.
I actually thought you were going to end the story with it was not the right house, because I think that's happened to you too. You were trying keys out of the house. That
I have the right to remain silent. But
I played the fifth.
I actually don't know. I think that may have happened to me. I don't remember, man. I probably have gotten into like over 1,000 houses already.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, there you go. We can celebrate that.
Yeah, you're right. All right, well...
oh, yeah, that's it. That was the end, by the way.
Yeah, no,
Thanks for just cutting me off. I appreciate it. So I guess that's it, man. We have nothing else. No other value to provide today, so we'll just do that.
Yeah, no, at least some entertainment. That can be the value we provide today.
Now, just for future reference, if you guys want more of these, we need things to happen during work. So if you are a future client of mine, just make it interesting, you know? just...
Or just let us know what you would want to know. Like, have you guys ever had to do this? Have you guys run into this situation? Maybe that'll give us some topics to talk about, some non-serious topics.
Because it's actually very easy to just, you know, things do happen, I feel, but they're just so common at this point that to us, it's just not even interesting.
Yeah.
But maybe to somebody else it would be. So, all right, we'll leave it at that then. We want to keep it short.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Bye.